It used to be that there were 5 types of LUTs. There is only going to really be one, and it will be a teacher. Um, the other programs, the youth and family ministry, the music, pastoral care, um, and administrative, I believe are going to all be more of certificate programs, and they will be separated out. So so this applies for both the LUT program and the MNRS. So you complete your required courses. So you have done the equivalency of the 14 core courses. Admissions happen in the fall. As I said at the beginning, I am on the team that reviews the admissions. Um, I've been doing that for 2 years now. It used to be that there were a number of times of admissions. There will now be only one admission time, and that's in the fall. Admission interviews happen in March. Those are done online. You are in front of a panel of 3, I believe it is, and you will be asked questions based on your admission form. So I've given you some behind the scenes here. So when you're going through that admission form, if you're feeling like you want to roll your eyes at how much detail is being requested, know that this is not just to get your foot in the door. This is actually part of what's going to get you into the program. Apply for scholarships and then pay your course invoices. So it's it's a little nerve-wracking in the fall and March and it's a little nerve-wracking for those of us on the team as well. We take our work very seriously and prayerfully. We always start our times with prayer. And one of the things we will do is have folks pray us in as we are beginning their interviews. So it's been a real blessing to be part of that. I love when I can see someone walk across the stage and say, gee, yeah, I remember when I read their admission. Or I taught them a class or whatever. All right, everybody take a deep breath. Here is the whole of the LUT program on one slide. And this slide I will make sure is uploaded so you can see this. Now, along the bottom, this is what's happening right now. You complete your online application, you have the application reviews and interviews, and you have acceptance. And you get a very nice letter, and there are a whole bunch of signatures inviting you to join. Now, the challenge is, and let you know right now, you find out in March whether or not you're going to be accepted, but you don't start till June. And that's because we have convention in the middle there. So there's that time where, maybe tie up some loose ends, make sure that you've got coverage of anything at the church that you need to have covered. So the first level of courses, healthy practices for self-awareness, effective ministry administration, systems and best practices, living an ethical life. Remember I said that one course was going to connect to something in the 300 level. There it is. Transform your teaching, mastering, competency-based education. Remember I said that the DEI class would have something to connect to. Here it is. DEI in education. Decoding group dynamics, basics of inspirational messaging, principles and practices for teaching online. And then finally, in the third term of courses, cultivating unity and community, experiencing the Bible through the Maieutic method. Maieutic is, the way I understand it, is taking that story to an inner place and asking questions about it and finding answers based on the questions. Very much akin to a Socratic method. Navigating leadership, boards, teams, and conflict, and embodied presence, deepening your prayer and meditation practice. So those are the educational components, the course components. Along the bottom here, we have a practicum. We've always had a practicum. It's different now. For those of us that went through and had the skills demonstrations seminar, that's been replaced. You will not have a week of heck of trying to prepare something and present it and write an exam and all of those things. The biggest change is that in terms of how the LUT candidates are um, not tested, checked for their where they are on the path will be identical to the ministers. So the ministers used to have LNOs, licensing and ordination weeks. The LUTs will now have progress interviews. So every March there will be a progress interview. And that will be done by the same team, members of the same team, the credentialing team. Um, so you'll see here we have um, be a part of an active ministry, complete your coursework. You will be given a mentor, and we have requested, Unity Canada has requested, I have requested on every team I have been on, that any mentor for an LUT or ministerial candidate be someone who is either from Canada or is familiar with Canadian systems, having served here, or perhaps they're married to someone here, uh, or they have some kind of familial connection to Canada that they get us, as it were. Um, so that is an area for those of you ministers on the call that you might consider engaging in, and also for the LUTs. I probably will not be asking to be a mentor just because I think it's too close to a conflict of interest for that. So you complete also the UWM overview course, which is a course that teaches you everything you need to know about how Unity runs as an organization. Now, depending on how this vote goes in November, there might be some changes to that, depending on what reimaging Unity ends up looking like. And instead of having an SDS project that you maybe get a couple months to work on, you will start working on your capstone project with your mentor. And that will take the better part of the year to do. So it's not just a small presentation anymore. It is something of some substance that you can take with you and reuse or use as a beginning step for an alternative ministry or expansion ministry. And then in March, about 2 years after your initial interview, you will have your final interview, at which time you will be told whether or not you are being credentialed. So, notes for the Canadians, just a reminder of the program pricing. There are scholarships, as I've said. Some of them are for while you're in school, some of them are for after you've completed, to kind of repay your investment.